drivers, Illinois features what's called graduated driver licensing, otherwise known as GDL laws. Under this system, young drivers safely gain driving experience before obtaining full driving privileges. They can obtain a permit at 15. At 16, they can earn their license with restrictions for high-risk situations, including night driving. And at 17, they get full driving privileges. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. We've got Representative John D'Amico with us, along with State Secretary Jesse White. Secretary White, talk to me about the graduating driving licensing here.
Well, one of the things that we did, and that is we conducted hearings across the state of Illinois using 27 of the finest individuals who know about highway safety in the country. And we were able to come up with some strict rules and regulations as to how we teach young people how to get from point A to point B in a safe and responsible manner.
Yes.
Parents will spend 50 hours behind the wheel with their young driver. 10 of those hours will be done at night and would cover a 9-month period of time, the fall, winter, and spring months.
That's a lot of time, though, Mr. White.
Well,
come on now.
We're talking about saving lives, and a moment ago we were talking about highway safety and getting these young people from point A to point B in a safe and responsible manner. We believe that the more practice that we give them, the better the product we're going to have.
Yeah.
And then the parents are involved in the equation as well.
But Representative D'Amico,
Yes.
isn't this unfair to the responsible teenage driver? What about the teenage driver who is a breadwinner and has to get to work at 16 or 17 years old?
Let me give you one example, and I use this analogy all the time. I think of a parent that teaches his kid how to play baseball from the time he's 6 years old that he's able to throw a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how many hours you put in teaching your kid how to catch a baseball, but yet you don't want to put them kind of hours into teaching them how to drive a car, something that could possibly kill him and kill other people. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. I just think that analogy hits it right on the head.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to go to some phone calls here. I'm looking at Lorraine. Lorraine, thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment?
Yeah, my comment is it ain't about the minimum age. They could be 13 or 14 and get their driver's license.
Oh, okay. Isn't that a little bit too young, Lorraine?
No, that's not too young, because what our focus needs to be is on these DUIs, these repeat DUIs.
Okay, so
and all these people who loan these DUI offenders their cars and their vehicles, and they know they a repeat DUI, and that's what Illinois need to be cracking down on.
Okay, so
it ain't no 13 to 14-year-olds. They can't even drink yet. They ain't even at the legal drinking age.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get to the real issue. The real issue is the DUIs, the DWIs.
I appreciate the phone call. Thanks a lot, Lorraine. Appreciate that. We're going to move on to Terrence. Terrence, thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment?
Well, my comment is I think it should be 18 and up, because I lost a friend due to driving. And I had another friend in there who survived, and he said that the reason why they got into that accident was because he was trying to show off and his friend. I got my license, woo this, and I'm going to go out on the road and impress everybody. I think it should be 18 and up, where people are, be more responsible, and I don't think it's a money issue.
Hey, Terrence, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate that. I want to share a story with you. It's interesting when you first get that driver's license, especially boys, you like to drive around, be seen by everyone. You might hit the gas pedal a little bit too hard, and things happen. I'm going to stay on the phones. Rosemary, thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment? Rosemary, what's your comment?
Hello?
Yes, Rosemary, your comment, please.
Yes, I don't believe that teenagers should be allowed to drive at 16 years old, because of the simple fact that they can't vote at 16, they can't go get health care on their own at 16. The law says as far as taxes, they're still the responsibility of their parents at 16. So they can't enter a contract at 16. So why would we allow them to enter a contract of driving, get behind a car which can become a lethal weapon, and possibly kill themselves, injure themselves, or someone else? No, 16 is just too young.
Wow, Rosemary, thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Secretary and Representative, my callers are very intelligent tonight. They're making some very good arguments for bumping that age to 18. Secretary.
I'd like to speak to that. We believe that when you have too many unrelated individuals in the automobile, it creates a distraction for the driver. And that's why you can only have one unrelated person in the automobile with you for the first 1 year period of time. And if you have additional drivers, then the driver can be ticketed as well as the additional passengers. We also found that nighttime driving creates a big problem for the young drivers. And that's why we downsize the number of the hours that a young person can drive at night from 12 o'clock at night on weekends to 11 o'clock on weekends, and then from 11 o'clock during the week to 10 o'clock during the week.
I appreciate that.
Plus, we also have put in place a requirement that school districts will spend 6 hours behind the wheel with these young drivers as compared to 1 hour and using the simulator.
Representative D'Amico, you want to chime in on that?
Yes, Gerard. I want to also add something else that was added to this piece of legislation. When we doubled the hours from 25 to 50, and 10 of those hours had to be driven at night, the other key part of that legislation was the parent has to sign off before their child goes into the Secretary of State to get their license. So if that parent feels that their kid is not ready to drive a car, they cannot get their license. And who better to judge than the parents to know if their kids are ready to go or not?
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know what? I'm glad you brought up that like Little League baseball or Little League softball example, because I think of the number of hours that my parents spent with me trying to teach me how to hit a baseball and catch a baseball. And if only we could spend that same time with our children behind the wheel. Please hold tight. Over 50% of teen crashes occur on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and 72% of the crashes occur between the hours of 3 p.m. and midnight. Let your children drive Monday through Thursday before 12 noon. Oops, they're in school on those days. Too bad. More Garrard McClendon Live. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
I just think it's way too much responsibility given to them at 16. I think 18 is definitely a good age. They haven't even earned the privilege to drive to get everywhere. So I just feel that we've just given them too much responsibility. They're still too young to absorb that they're taking their life in their hands.
Wow, that's a concerned parent there. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. We're talking teen driving. Where do you stand? I say we make them wait. 630-575-TALK. Call me now and voice your First Amendment right. Let me go straight back to the phones, then I'll be with you gentlemen shortly. Dorothy, thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Dorothy, what's your comment?
Yeah, I have two girls who have been to driving school. They both got their licenses. They never had a problem. They used it mostly for going to work and school. But think about this. If they're trying to raise the driving age and lower the drinking age, now what do you think is going to happen when everybody gets 18 and they start driving and they start drinking?
Wow. Wow, Dorothy, you got a good point there. So you think that's a recipe for disaster?
Yes, yes. Teach them how to be responsible at 16 and 17. You don't have to wait till they're 18 to do everything. If they're going to drink at 18 and drive at 18 legally, you're going to have a problem.
Dorothy, thank you for watching Garrard McClendon Live and calling the show. We appreciate that. Representative D'Amico, I mean, she's got a great point here, because what's happening is it's about parental responsibility in terms of teaching the child what's best. But what happens when there's this delicate imbalance? I mean, you know, do we have stiffer penalties on children who get into crashes and survive, or drink and drive?
Well, here's the thing, and with this graduated driver's license bill that we passed, this is taking the place of raising the age to 18, because we're trying to make sure that our kids are prepared to be on the road, whereas before they were not as prepared. And as far as lowering the drinking age, I don't think that's going to happen. That's just because some college presidents want it to be done. Don't think that that's going to just automatically happen. I'm opposed to lowering the drinking age.
Yeah.
But this graduated driver's license is, bottom line is, it's making our kids more prepared for the road. And the statistics that the Tribune reported on, that the fatalities are down 47%, is already proving it right.
You know, I think Representative D'Amico and Secretary of State White are on to something here. Before I go back to the phones, I want to read something quickly to you. It looks as if teenagers generally have a tendency to speed. There's a lack of attention behind the wheel. They're easily distracted. They have a greater tendency at times to not wear seat belts, and there's also the ramifications of the immature brain. I'm moving to Marcia. Thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment?
Yes, thank you so much. I think Jesse White and Representative D'Amico have done an excellent job with the preparation of this program for driving education. So much is learned and required before they get to the full license. Yes, they can drive to school and back. Yes, in an emergency, they may be driving. But there's a requirement regarding who can be in the car and also the hours. This does put a responsibility back on the parent to make sure, even though they have their license, even though that they can drive, that they're following all those rules and regulations.
Wow, Marcia, thank you for your phone call. State Secretary Jessie White, she has a good point, but don't you think this is just too many hoops for teenagers to jump through?
No, I think we're right on target. And one of the things that I'm happy about, and that is we have put on our website a contract where it spells out the rules and regulations that the young person must abide by in order to keep their license. If by chance you happen to get a ticket, and of course it would be in violation of the spirit of the contract, then the parent can take away the keys for 2 weeks if that is the case.
Yes.
And then we also put in place a program whereby parents can pull up the driving record of their young driver with a PIN number.
Yes.
And they go on our website, www.cyberdriveillinois.com. And then, of course, we're proud of the fact, too, that we provide the parents and the young driver with a handbook that spells out the do's and don'ts of operating an automobile and making sure that the training program that they're involved with, that they must adhere to the letter.
Wow, appreciate that. You know, it's all about responsibility. I just want to read some things that had me almost crying earlier. Justina Tostado, 18 years old, was killed after being thrown from her car. And Novak, 15, was on her way home at the time of a deadly crash. Michael Klein, 16, was killed after the car he was driving hit a patch of black ice on a bridge and slid into oncoming traffic. This is from a Chicago Tribune article a few years ago cataloging the 59 lives lost, teenage lives lost by traffic accidents. Email me, send comments to my blog, watch Garrard McClendon live clips online at www.cltv.com/GML. I read all blog comments and we may read yours on the air. Minimum driving age is the topic. 630-575-TALK. Garrard McClendon live, back in a few. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon live. We've got Representative John D'Amico on the phone and we have State Secretary Jessie White with us at Tribune Tower. I'm going straight to the phones with Sheldon, my last caller today. Sheldon, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon live.
Yes, just two things real quick. I got my license when I was 16, or have been driving since I was 16, and I think it depends on the family. If you're a responsible mother and father and you train your kids right and they drive right, letting them know that driving is a privilege, not a right, then you'll be fine. If you're from I hate to say it, a broken home, so to speak, where anything goes, then you should expect bad behavior when it comes to driving.
So Sheldon, let me ask you this. Do you believe that these laws being put into place are over, kind of a little bit over the top, or talk to me?
I don't think they're over the top nowadays. I got my license 25 years ago when I was a kid. I'm 41 now, but nowadays, I think you should bump it up to 18 because kids nowadays just don't know. They don't have a clue.
That's a great phone call, Sheldon. I appreciate it. You know what? I'm going to Representative John D'Amico. Final thoughts.
Well, and in regards to Sheldon's comment, that's where the signature of the parent comes into play as well. If they don't think that their kid is ready to drive, if they don't give them that signature, they cannot get their license, and they're going to have to wait until they get that signature. Absolutely.
State Secretary Jessie White, thanks for being on the show. Give me some final thoughts and then give me your website as well.
Well, www.cyberdriveillinois.com. I believe that more practice time is necessary, and that's what we're doing. Greater involvement on the part of the parents, limiting distractions, and above all, toughening our penalties when individuals stray off the beaten path.
Wow. Appreciate you both. Thanks to my guests, Representative John D'Amico and Secretary of State Jessie White. I think before you turn the key, you must be responsible. Teenagers, do not text message your friends. Stop the vehicle first, and don't drive drunk. Stephen Covey said, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. That's Garrard McClendon live for tonight. Always keep your head up and be encouraged. Good night.
Ax or ask, Donda's rules suit shoes.